Hey there, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm Lacey Verbick, and I'm here with my favorite flamingo, Becky North. How you doing, Becky?
Lacey, I am so glad that we are having our second fake fall here in Missouri, and
Oh,
the weather has just been beautiful this weekend for us to experience. And the fact that we are two fake falls down means that the real fall is getting one step closer. So excited about that.
I
How are
love that.
you?
Oh, I'm so good. I've never heard it called fake fall. That makes me happy. I love that. Fake fall. Yeah, I we are doing great here. Also having an uncharacteristically cool end of August here in Indiana. But it made for some wonderful bird watching yesterday. I got to go out in this sort of protected woods area in a neighboring county and do some bird watching with this new app I found called Merlin. Really cool. If anybody else is interested in birds like I am, Merlin is an app where you can actually hold it up in the woods and it will identify the birds that are singing. It will tell you
Mhm.
what bird it is. And I am just absolutely madly in love with this new app. But anyway, met up with a beautiful a group of bird nuts like myself in a new bird club. So that was really fun. We spent 3 hours in the woods yesterday, just grounding and forest bathing and taking in all the beautiful songs. So that was yesterday, and we have a long holiday weekend coming up. Labor
Mhm.
Day is here, close anyway, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I meant to mention, Becky, the last time I meant to mention a week or so ago, I know you heard about Silas, my new plant that was mentioned in a
Mhm.
previous episode, but
Yes.
I wanted to bring that up here for our listeners, in case you haven't caught Silas on social or anything. I think he may be coming up again this week, so keep your eyes peeled. But
Mm.
that beautiful plant I referred to, that I had left lonely and hopeful at the store. I think was it 2 episodes ago or one
I
episode?
think it was last episode, but I could
Yeah,
be wrong. I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
think it was last episode too. So anyway, just I for those of you who are following my crazy life and crazy passions, I did manage to bring Silas home, and he's a beautiful philodendron. We'll be sharing him with you. So I just wanted to remind myself to share that also here.
Yes. I'm so glad you did. He's beautiful. She sent me a picture. Now, I will say she didn't go get him the next day like I told her to, but she did go get him.
Yeah,
So
way to tell on me, Becky.
it's okay. But
I
you know what? He was still there, which meant it was meant to be. It's
meant
meant
to
to
be,
be.
indeed. Yes. So I'm excited to share him with all of you. So stay tuned for that on social.
Yes.
Go ahead and find your cozy corner, grab your favorite drink. Let's hang out for a bit.
Today we're talking about kids' fundraisers. Let's be honest, we've all felt the dread of trying to juggle cookie dough, coupon books, and never ending asks from schools or teams. Do we sell? Do we buy? Or do we just write a check and move on? Ugh, this
Ugh.
one, right? I would be interested. I'm gonna just put this out there and maybe we'll put this as a poll to our listeners too. But like I would love to know from you, those of you listening, how do you actually feel about kids fundraisers?
Uh, we need to do a poll. That would be really interesting because
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the majority of mothers feel the way I feel about fundraising, which is hate, hate,
uh,
hate, absolutely hate. I can say that I actually hate very, very few things in this life. Lacey of today hates very few things, but
mm,
fundraising is one of those things.
mm.
So actually, it was my idea to do this episode because Becky is a masterful fundraiser and seemingly a willing participant, and you're so good at it, and I admire that in you. But I'm also like, oh, that is not me. Oh, girl. Nope. No, and thankfully my son is at the point of high school where there's very little of that,
Yeah.
going on in his life now. But boy, oh boy, I there were days that I thought I might not survive the
Mm.
the demands of that And so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Becky. I'm just so I'm excited to hear your perspective on it, and I'll probably play the negative here on this episode a little bit, like, just d- trying to discuss all the reasons why it isn't good and we shouldn't have to do it. But
Right.
I know you probably have a different perspective, so I'm excited.
Well, I think that you'll be surprised. I don't know that my perspective is that different. Where I think that for our family specifically, it is a little different is that because we homeschool, um, we really just have fundraisers tied to things that we choose to be involved in.
Ah, okay.
And so that feels a little better, but still I still definitely have, I think, some strong opinions and feelings about it. And the first, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick it off with this. I
Yeah.
think that we are always asked to fundraise at the most awful time.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yes, go on.
Like I will use what actually probably sparked this whole thought was my son plays football, and as you know, and I think most people have just kind of gotten on the back to school train, and who drops like tons of money for back to school? We homeschool and we
Yes.
still drop a ton of money for back to school. So like like new clothes, new shoes, new supplies, new all that. And then if you
Mhm.
are in a school, all of the lists and all of the things, and it's a lot. It's a very expensive time of year, I think, for
Yes.
most households, right? And then it's like, oh, here is a fundraiser for you. And
As
I'm
if I need
like,
one more thing to do.
I
Ugh.
just seriously, I'm like, don't you think it would have been more successful if we waited a month? Like 1 month, seriously, don't you think that that would have changed things um for the successfulness of that? Because like I think the economy is definitely still in a position, right? And
Mm.
uh I can't speak for everybody, but I know what that has done to like our grocery bills in our house even, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
then you
Yep.
add in the extra, and it's not that we're not willing or able to support our child, because I think every parent wants to support their child, but like 1 month could make the difference in how much people are able to help support with that, because people did just spend a ton of money for this new
Yes.
season. And yeah, so that's kind of my first point. I'd love to hear what you have to think about that, Lacey.
Oh my gosh, yes. Um yeah, I couldn't agree more that the timing is terrible, though in my experience, fundraising is an all year round
Mm,
pestilence. That it isn't just back to school time where I've seen fundraising happen. As a
yeah.
matter of fact, seemingly for me in our area, it's closer to the winter time. It seems to
Mm.
be like something that schools choose to do to keep themselves entertained when the weather is garbage. I
Going
mean, it
outside, let's sell some wrapping paper.
yeah, or let's sell mattresses or cookie dough, or let me think some of the crazy things that we've fundraised. You think too, Becky. Think about some of the
Okay.
funnier things. You've been asked to fundraise trash bags.
Mm,
Uh Mattresses, I think, is hilarious. Like our
right.
school does that all the time, and I'm like, that is so ridiculous. And what a logistical nightmare. Why would anybody think of that? Anyway, the what are they, the rolls, like the like old fashioned
Mm-hmm.
hand rolled like dough, listen to me, like the
Like
holiday
a yeast
rolls, like
rolls.
a
Yeah.
yeasted roll. Yeah, yeah. Supposedly they're famous from some bakery or some restaurant or something in our area, so they have us sell these things. I mean, it's crazy. But for the thing that bothers me the most of things I've been asked to fundraise around is things that no one wants.
Uh,
Sell stuff no one wants. That's what
yeah.
majority of these things are.
Yeah.
And okay, mattresses, I guess people want mattresses, but the thing is, do they need them? I mean, it's a very sort of niche thing, right? Most people have the mattresses they need, and
Yeah.
they're not going to buy them from some high school kid, distributed from a gymnasium wrapped in plastic. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or at least I'm not going to. I spent a lot of money on my Fandancy mattress and I love my Fandancy mattress. So I'm not about to buy something from, some high school
Yeah.
somewhere. But anyway, it's the stuff no one wants. That's what really grinds on me is like,
Mm,
it's one thing if you can say, hey, you know what? You, everybody likes cookies. Might be cool to have a tub of cookie dough or two in the freezer.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, people want that.
So
I
many
can see
frozen
that.
pizzas. We
Yeah.
eat frozen pizza too, and I'm like, if you make me sell one more frozen pizza, seriously.
Yes. Yeah. What is it like? I used to be called Market Day. Is that still a thing? I don't even know. It used to be called Market Day, and my mother in law, who used to work for a school district for many years, she was a librarian, and she loved Market Day, which was, I guess, her school's fundraising partner of choice, and it was all about pastry and
Oh,
cakes and cookies and pies that were frozen and these kinds of things. And so I remember that, and that was one that I was like, yeah, okay, it's treats, it's desserts, it's
mm,
yummy stuff, we put it in the freezer, keep it for the holidays, okay, right? Like,
yeah.
I can sort of get behind that, but some of the stuff that comes home is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I
And
will say,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry. I
No,
want you
you
to
go.
finish your
No,
thought.
you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I will say, I've actually been privy to some pretty okay fundraisers. Also, last year,
Hmm.
my son's football team last year did a hog raffle where they were raffling
Oh.
off half a hog,
Oh,
and
huh.
we bought, I don't know, probably $25 worth of tickets all in, and we ended up winning. And I was like, it was such the a great investment. It was like a locally grown, like somebody on their team, actually their parents are farmers, and it was locally
Nice.
grown, and like it was butchered locally, and it like, I mean, it was that was a really great fundraiser, right? Because nobody's going to be sad about winning some meat for their freezer.
Yeah.
The other ones I actually also really love, and I've seen a lot of sports teams in our areas do this, and even a lot of schools, is when they partner with and this is probably more for the littler kids, but with like kid friendly restaurants. So I know our Raising Cane's does it, our Chick-fil-A does it, our Panda Express does it,
Oh,
where you can go in, and if you go in like that night between this hours and this hours, that
yes.
like a like part of the profit goes to the school. And I'm like, ooh, a reason to not have to cook at home, and or it goes to the team, or it goes to the whatever. Like that
Yeah.
one, I feel like I could almost always get behind, because oh, it's,
Yes.
we can support our team and we can support mom not having to take on one more thing.
Yes, I love that. Like you said, I've experienced the Chick-fil-A one. And I think they call these in general like business partnerships, right? In terms of
Yeah.
what kind of fundraiser it is. The business partnerships are the one that I'm like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense on a number of levels. One, you can go to a restaurant and feed your family and
Mhm.
not have to cook one night in order to benefit a thing that you care about, that you might have eaten out anyway, right? And
Mhm.
so you might as well, it's an easy choice, I guess, is what I'm
Yep.
getting at. It's an easy decision to support that because it's a place that you might normally patronize anyway, and you can do kind of double duty,
Yep.
unburdening yourself and also benefiting the
Yeah.
organization. So yeah, I love that. I agree with I forgot about those types of
Yeah.
fundraisers until you just brought that up. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a
I
great
will
point.
say, to go along with the nobody uses the stuff though, like especially for like elementary school age, and even like Girl Scouts, listen, and I have Girl Scout stuff on my list to talk about too, but like the the prizes that they give
Oh,
kids, that they're like, to sell this many because I want this prize that it's gonna break in 5 seconds. And like, oh, please do not bring any more crap into my home. Like,
yes. And
like,
don't tease my child with crap that they're never
yeah,
gonna they're never gonna be able to really attain or keep. Like,
Right.
just don't. I understand the dangling the carrot thing, right? Everybody's familiar with that tactic, but the truth of all that is you're setting your kids up for they're setting our kids up for disappointment,
Mhm.
because those things
Yeah.
are rarely achievable.
Yeah.
The
Well,
good stuff that they're dangling is
yeah.
rarely achievable for the average student,
Yeah.
and then I think, our I truly believe that our children need to experience some level of disappointment in order to grow and become well balanced humans.
Yep.
Disappointment is
Same.
part of life,
Yep.
but I just don't see any reason to put my kid through that for someone else's gain.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the ones that do say like, if on average we can sell 2 items per kid across our classroom, then we're going to have a pizza party or we're going to,
Mm-hmm,
right? Because
mm-hmm.
not every family is in the same financial boat,
Yep.
right? Not every family has people that they can tap on. And this is coming from a mom who does go door to door with her daughter for Girl Scout cookies, right? Like it's kind of a scary world out there. Like it's not like
Yeah.
when I was a kid and I could roll around with my chocolate bars and knock on doors without my parents and, be like, hey, do you want to buy this? Right? It's um that. And I think like, wouldn't it be a better lesson for our children? And I actually had this on my pros is like this is a really great way to talk about like, oh, let's set a goal. Let's
Yes.
talk about goals. Why are we doing this? Let's set a goal. Let's make a plan. Let's be strategic with that. Like, which I think is a good thing to have as an adult, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Definitely.
a great benefit of that. But I wish that in sports organizations, in schools and things like that, like if this is what we're raising money towards, I would rather them say every penny that we get is going to go towards this instead of these stupid ass prizes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to tell you what your impact was. So as a class, you did XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
right? And um I think that that's another thing for me with fundraising is that they're like, "Oh, we want to help with equipment costs." But I'm like, "Well, if you're helping with equipment costs and this is something that I pay to join, like
Then where's my money
how does
going?
that translate? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
how does that translate, right? So I maybe that's just me, but I would love that even as a parent afterwards to say like this is what our goals were, this is what we achieved, this is what that's going to equal, right? Like here's here's what happened because of this as opposed to here's another stuffed animal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's that you hit on something really important there, Becky, and it's a sticking point for me too, a huge one. That there's never really a result. There's never really a designated impact. Look what happened here. We don't celebrate the impact. We don't celebrate the value and the energy and the drive and the determination of all the kids. Like maybe they give them like one of those old thermometer illustrations that's like, look, it's red, it's go, the
Mhm.
where it goes from red, to the from the bottom to the top kind of thing, filling up towards the goal. Like I don't even think they do that anymore. At least I haven't seen anybody do that well here in our area where we're fundraising. But the thing for me, the resulting funds raised are almost always slashed, you know, in a third or in half by middlemen, by the
Mm.
organization running the fundraiser. They get paid. They get paid.
Yep.
And nobody talks about that part, right? Nobody talks about the fact
Yep.
that our kids may have raised $100,000, let's say, and 25K is out the door
Yep.
just to pay the organization who facilitated the thing.
Yep.
Well, what if we set our goal to 75K and cut the middleman out and actually made an impact?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I yeah, I just there's just too many question marks for me. Too many, just too many gaps
Yeah.
in the it just doesn't make enough sense
Yeah.
in my book. The for me, especially in the public school system, where our educators are involved in facilitating these programs. Like, for example, I'm gonna pick on the performing arts a little bit in our area. The performing arts teachers, and I understand that they may be less well funded than
Mhm.
other areas of our public education system here, but I'm going to pick on them because they're the ones that are very forthcoming with the fundraisers. But there's a lot of energy being put forward by these teachers and stuff to bring these programs and facilitate these fundraising efforts, yet like those teachers are being paid to do a job and to educate my child and to deliver a curriculum, and to facilitate growth and development, and the reason they're calling on these third parties, these middlemen, these organizations that are taking a cut, they're calling on them because they have to, because they're trying to balance that, right? They're trying to
Mhm.
balance the,
Yep.
I'm here to do a job, I'm here to teach, I'm here to develop these children, but we also need these funds. So like I get it that they're between a rock and a hard place, but
Yep.
at the same time, can't there's got to be a better way. Can't we think differently?
Yeah.
Can't we
Well,
think
I'm
differently
like,
about this? Can't you, bring about a, I don't know, what's it called, Becky? I think it's called a booster club. Have you heard of this? They
yeah.
have, I don't know, they at least have these in Indiana, but I don't know
Yeah.
about everywhere else. But booster clubs are like it's a supporting sort of board, if you will,
Mhm.
of volunteer parents and stuff
Yep.
that come forward and say, I'm going to support this organization and we're going to
Mhm.
do this over here and that over here, and to support the programming. And if those people are doing fundraisers, awesome, right? But I have, especially as my children were younger, there are teachers that don't have the luxury of booster programs, that don't
Mhm.
necessarily have the support system around them
Yeah.
to be able to uh you know farm some of that out to other people. And therefore
Yep.
these teachers, it seems out of some measure of desperation, right, are running these programs just to try to make ends meet. And
Yeah.
while I have a hard time being mad at them, I'm also like, you took your eye off the ball. Your job is to educate. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it's a
know.
fine line for sure. And I do think like, ooh, how could we get creative to make sure that if we are fundraising more, if that's coming to us? And I'm going to use the arts as an example, right? Because I'm like, oh, I would rather pay to go to a play. But then I thought about that for a second and I was like, yeah, but then I also have to take in the cost of like costumes and all of those things. But what if it were an improv night just in the gym? Like, and we're gonna have our theater students come in and it's gonna be an improv night, right? And that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be fancy pants. I would, because then like, yeah, there's going to be some overhead costs, but the overhead cost is going to be reduced drastically for something like that
Mm-hmm.
versus like, oh, I'm paying a company to help me fundraise. And
Yeah.
I also just want to be like, because there are more and more of these fundraising companies popping up and I kind of want to be like, shame on you, like seriously,
Yeah.
this feels like a sticky way to have a business. And
Oh, it
if
is.
that's your company, I apologize, because there are some companies who do it really well. There are some companies who do it really well,
Mm-hmm.
and some business partnerships and things like that who do it really well, right? And like, and there are some that do it really not well, and it feels gross. And you were talking about that, I think, especially with things like the arts. And I mean, even in with sports now, we are not affiliated. Like, it's interesting because like my son's football team is not, it is affiliated with the school. He has to be district for that school because they're like a feeder program, but they're not a school run activity.
Yeah.
Like, so it's weird. It's a weird concept and I don't quite understand it all, but like, there is a lot of pressure to like, you got to make sure like everybody please send 20 emails. And like, we've been told in situations before and stuff like, everybody has to sell 10 or you're going to run laps or you're going to do this or you're going to do that. And I'm like, not everybody can do that, first of all, right? Like,
Mm-mm. No.
not everybody can do that. And like, and just as much as we shouldn't be like dangling the carrot in front of them with stupid prizes that they're probably never going to get, right? We also shouldn't be threatening punishment,
No. Oh my God. No. I was just about to interrupt you to
right?
say that very same thing. Shame on them for
Like,
tying some kind of consequence to an unwillingness to fund. I mean, come on. Maybe it isn't even unwillingness, but an
right.
inability, as you said,
Yeah.
an inability to come forward with that particular result. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
But I
That
think
makes me super angry.
even in classrooms, like, oh, hey, we're trying to raise this much money for our theater department and we haven't got there and we haven't got there. And then like the pressure that then continues to be applied to children based on that is like, or we didn't meet this because one person didn't sell. Like, that's not like, let's not play the shame game. Like, let's just not do that. Like, let's not do it to our kids. Let's not do it to grown-ups. Let's not.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. And one thing that I recall happening, I think it was with my daughter, and I want to say it was junior, senior year. There was a goal of some kind, and the facilitator actually gave an option for pay to opt out. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, that's the best thing ever, because
Yeah.
of course I want to support ABC initiative. Of
Mm-hmm.
course I want my
Yeah.
child's, program or whatever it is to be successful. But by giving a pay to opt out option, they basically were saying, hey, we don't, if you don't have the bandwidth or the interest to go through this process,
Mm-hmm.
then you can just pay this amount and opt out.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom, there it is.
Done.
Paid to opt out. I've paid to opt out multiple times
Yeah.
now, and the thing is though, that still probably had a middleman, and there still probably was a bunch of mess that I would be mad about if I really knew what was going on behind the scenes there. But the truth of it is, I think many parents, maybe not all, but many parents and families are engaged enough and
Mm-hmm.
care enough if they have enrolled their child in a particular program or track or
XYZ.
course
Yep.
or
Mm-hmm.
sport, that they're engaged enough that if you said, hey guys, here's the fundraising goal, you know I don't care how we get there,
Yeah.
but we need to get there. So here's some suggestions, right? You
Yeah.
could do this or this. I think, and I've never necessarily been on the receiving end of that kind of
Mm-hmm.
child's fundraising campaign, but I have, in my work as an event manager, I have been on the other side of fundraising campaigns for
Yep.
not-for-profit initiatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
We fundraise for grant programs and new technology and all kinds of things, right? There's fundraising
Mm-hmm.
that happens even in the corporate world
Yep.
beyond school. And I have been on the other side of that, and generally speaking, when people believe in a thing
Mm-hmm.
and are invested in a thing, the
Yep.
the opportunity to be generous is very natural,
Yep.
and emerges without being antagonized. It emerges
Yes.
without being guilted, without being
Mm-hmm.
embarrassed, smacked down, punished,
Yep.
any whatever, any of those words. And and I just think we should allow our fellow humans and parents the opportunity to do what they can do,
Yeah.
and and without expectation, but with gratitude in our heart, with you know with a plan and um a goal in mind, and
Yeah.
a a a plan for what to do with those funds,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And gratitude in our heart, and laying it out there in a beautiful way with a nice ask that says, here's the
Mm-hmm.
why.
Yeah.
Here's what we're doing with this money. Here's why we need it.
Hmm.
Please, you know, please do what you can do. Right. And then that gives every family the autonomy to be like, here's what I can do. It's $30, it's $3,000.
Yep.
Every family is going to have, a different position on that spectrum. But
Yep.
just having the freedom to come to the table with what I can do,
Mhm.
that from my heart,
Yeah. It
right? Like
probably
that's,
makes you feel more willing too.
yes, it totally transforms it would transform my willingness
Yeah.
to have it presented that way versus the way that it is presented, which feels it feels creepy and dirty
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
most times, in my opinion.
Yeah. I went to a very, very small high school. So I actually went to a boarding high school, and our yearbook team, because we were so small, we did, um, now it was a pay to play high school, right? But still, we were small. Like I had 34 kids in my graduating class.
Oh
Like
wow.
that's small, right?
Very
Like,
small.
and so we did fundraising, and they did actually present it like that, like here's our goals, what are our ideas, right now, because of the type of school that we were at, we were, like we had both boarding and like commuting students, and but it was in like a really small town. And I remember like my senior year, we took an initiative, and like we went and presented to businesses like as, hey, you can sponsor, and
Nice.
this is what that means, and this is like you'll get like basically an ad part in our yearbook for like sponsoring us, and you'll do this. And it was neat to see not only like the collaboration of parents and everybody coming together to also support, but to see like as a student participating in it, like to see us like saying, okay, here's how we can make that happen, right? Here's what
Nice.
we can do to make that happen. Like, I know my class sold mums every year, but do you
Oh
know
yeah,
what?
mom.
We sold mums because like the whole town mummed up, right? Like, so it was like we were actually doing a service to
Oh, I
the
love that.
people. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think a that could be really great problem solving for our kids, and it could be much more beneficial with maybe potentially cutting middleman if possible.
Yeah.
And I would rather go to things like school carnivals and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. Like, let's dunk the principal, right? Like, we did a fundraiser like that when I was in elementary school, and it was like we were raising money to like shave the principal's head or something. And you bet every kid was behind that, man, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
let's do it, right?
Yeah.
And that was just donation. It wasn't even like, oh, we're selling you pizzas, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that there are things that we can get behind, but I'm going to play devil's advocate to this for a second and say, like, I do think, in my opinion, every person should know how to sell.
Mm. Talking about the
And
skill of
the
of
skill
selling.
of selling, because the
Yeah.
truth is that you are constantly selling yourself. And I don't mean that in a sticky,
Mm.
icky way, but I mean like when you are at a job interview, you're selling yourself.
Yep. That's true.
When you're starting a business, you're selling yourself. When you're like, and so I think that that is a really good skill and a really good way for us to start to teach that. Like, how do we talk to people? How do we treat people? How do we show up? How do we set goals? How do we know what the action plan is? How do we do those things? I think those
Yeah.
are really, really very tangible skills that we can be teaching our kids with things like fundraising.
Mm.
And if we are saying that, we have to make sure that the ones selling are our kids and not mom and
Oh,
dad.
yes. Uh Ding ding ding, we have a winner. Yeah, that's an amazing point. Yes. And so many, I mean, Becky, can you honestly say that you've never fallen victim to that? Because I have.
Oh yeah.
I
I
have fallen
I
victim to that. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
push pretty hard with my kids, but I try to keep them involved. But I'm like, oh, they have these goals and I want to help them hit them, right? I've done better. I actually think I've done better since my daughter's been in Girl Scouts, because I'm
Mm.
like, if you really want to sell 1,000 boxes of cookies, you're gonna have to get your butt out there and sell them,
Yeah. Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
um, And like, okay, I'll post on like Facebook for you. But even then, I've been like, what do we want to talk about today? What do we want to like,
Mhm.
those things? And I think that
I've
has
seen you
been,
I've seen you do a beautiful job with like getting her in front of a camera so that
yep,
she can sell, so that she can say,
yep,
here's my why. Here's why I need you
yep,
to contribute.
mm-hmm,
Here's my goal. Here's what happens if I reach my goal, right? Like I think
yep,
that's a beautiful enablement that
yeah,
you've done for her. And
mm-hmm,
it's not about pimping out your kid, it's
yeah,
not.
no,
I'm not
mm-hmm,
talking about pimping out your kid and putting them all over Facebook. It was a genuine message out to a
yeah,
tight circle of friends, right?
yep,
That was
mm-hmm,
just an opportunity for her to practice asking and
yep,
practice sharing the story. And you make such a good point there, Becky. And I something came up as you said that. And for me, I think there's also opportunity though to teach strategy,
mm-hmm,
to teach strategic thinking
yep,
when we're fundraising with a little more integrity, without the
mm-hmm,
third party, without,
yeah,
when we're fundraising using storytelling, using
mm-hmm,
marketing, using, you know real, real professional practices. I mean, these are
yep,
all things that we see in our corporate world as adults. But kind of taking that alternate path of developing a strategy and then executing on the strategy,
mm-hmm,
and then revisiting the strategy and saying,
yeah,
how do we do, right? Like
absolutely,
I think there's tremendous learning both ways. And
yes.
yeah, I guess my main argument is it doesn't have to be the way it's always been.
Absolutely. And I will say, like, too, you brought up like storytelling and that. And man, that's like such a huge art and a part of like if you are actually selling something is to be able to tell the story behind it. Like, and like if our kids are sharing that with the people, their close circle of people, right? You're also probably more likely to purchase,
Mm-hmm.
right? If it's
Yes.
not just, oh, we have another school fundraiser. I mean, I did send out the blast this week that I was like, hey, I just need some email addresses. But I think everybody that I talked to this week about, like, hey, can we put you on the list to send an email to? First of all, that's because I never ever want to put you on a list to send an email to if you don't want on it. Number one.
Well, that's
Like,
because you're a person of
right.
integrity.
Number two, like that's not the ask for a buy from my kids, at least, right? They like my intention is that like they will do the work to put that in, right? Whatever that looks like for said particular kid. But we are more likely to connect with a story. And so I'm going to use Girl Scouts again as an example because this is something we've actually already been working on for our upcoming cookie season is we've been like taking pictures and like
Nice.
because I think that people are like, oh, Girl Scout cookies, and like, could we make more money from them? Is there like, yes, all of those are yes, okay, and like, and our troop has got to do some really amazing things because of the funds that we have earned from Girl Scout cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not just like, oh, we went to a party, right? Like we like this year we have dedicated like a certain number of we're using troop funds. We're going as a troop, we're purchasing the things to create birthday bags for kids in our community and taking them to our local food bank, right? We are
Yep.
literally taking the money that we've gotten and putting it right back into the community.
Well,
They've
that's
learned
the
things.
storytelling.
Right. Like
That's the
they've learned
storytelling.
things like dog CPR,
Mm,
right? Like, and people CPR too. But like, I
yeah.
mean, just the experiences that they've got to have. And when you're able to share those things, people are much more likely to present. And that's exactly what you like. And I know that's the point you were making, Lacey. That's the exact thing that I was saying here is that like, that is such an important skill to have.
Yeah.
And like, we as mom and dad need to be really conscious as to not say, oh, I'm just going to do it for you. Like, here, let me just take your cookie sheet and let me do all that because they don't actually learn that skill if we just do it for them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I had a one more thing in my notes I wanted to talk about is just,
Yeah.
the time and energy drain that
Mhm.
that fundraising, maybe let's say good and bad, right? Positive and negative
Yeah.
formats of fundraising. I think it's important to highlight the fact that it is a time and energy drain
Mhm.
on on already busy moms. I'm
Yeah.
specifically going to talk about moms because we know who we're talking about here, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not a drain on dads, probably is in some ways. But from a mom's perspective, I would just encourage you that if this is something that is a significant drain on your energy that leaves you feeling completely depleted,
Yeah.
dry, cracked, and ready to knock someone's head off, the answer is no. No,
Yeah.
because your time and your peace and your energy are yours to protect.
Hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
And if that means if no comes with, I'm going to pay to opt out, so be it. If no comes with, we are not participating,
Mhm.
so be it. Right?
Yep.
That you do not have to succumb to social pressure.
The have to.
You
Yes.
do not have to. And I'm not saying don't play. I'm not saying leave your kid out to dry. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying your peace and time and energy is maybe one of your most valuable assets. And only you can give it away.
Mhm. Yep.
So that's all. That's that.
That's that. No,
I
that was
just I
beautiful.
I just feel like that's something 46-year-old me knows that
Hmm.
26-year-old me didn't know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So if you're like 26-year-old me and you are just being constantly battered by these external demands that seem important at the time, hear 46-year-old me say, you can say no.
You can say no.
It's important to protect your peace
Mhm. Yep.
and time and energy because there are uh so many people who need you at your best, on
Yep.
your game, and with a full cup.
Hmm.
And if you give all your shit away to some silly fundraiser because you think you have to,
Hmm.
then you can't serve those most important to you.
Yeah. Well, and I'll add to that, Lacey, that sometimes it's not no, sometimes it's can I do it like this instead?
Yeah, that's what
Right.
that's
So
what I mean
maybe,
about the whole pay to
yeah,
opt
maybe
out
there's
thing.
not a
Maybe
pay to, maybe that's not an option, but maybe you can talk to the teacher or the coach or the whatever about it. Or like, oh, I don't bake, so I can't participate. They don't even do bake sales anymore because of the way the world is today. But
yeah.
like I don't bake, but can I bring plates instead?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yes.
like and sometimes we have to be willing to raise our hand there, because I think
Yes.
we all want to show up, right? We all want
Mm-hmm.
to show
Sure.
up, we all want to support, we
Sure.
all want to do that. And maybe there could be a lot of reasons, like maybe you're like life is just too demanding right now and you can't do that. Maybe it's a financial reason, maybe it's that you don't eat gluten and everything that they're selling has gluten in it,
Yeah.
right? Like maybe who knows what that is, but like sometimes we have to create the other path if we want it. Now, that's not
Yep.
me pressuring you into saying you have to want it, but if you're like,
Yep.
no, I want to, I feel the call, I feel this, and I
Yes.
want to do that, but I can't do it in this form. Sometimes we have to create that differently.
Mm. I love that,
And
Becky. You're so right.
um and I think like that's how we teach our kids that it's okay to change the world, is by saying, oh, can I do this different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because
Mm.
somebody somewhere one time was like, can I just pay to opt out of the fundraiser? And now that has become a thing.
Right. Somebody changed
Right.
the world with that.
So,
Absolutely. Spot
like,
on.
yeah,
Yep. And
yeah.
one way that while you were talking, one way that I've seen other people do this. I wouldn't say I've done this, but I've seen other people show up and help with the distribution.
Hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Like if all these giant boxes of cheese and sausage show up in a gymnasium, right? Like
Yeah.
somebody has to help distribute that stuff.
Mhm. Yep.
Like, so if you're, if you're a parent who's like, listen, I'm going to buy one pack for my house and one pack for grandma and grandpa, and that's
Mhm.
all we can do, and that's all we're
Yeah.
going to do, then, there's other ways for you there's other ways to
Mhm.
dig in and
Yeah.
be in support
Mhm. Yep.
of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's a terrific point.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I feel like I've sort of gotten through my notes. Becky, is there anything else
Yeah, I
you
think
wanted
the
to share?
only other thing that I had on my notes, and I know that we've talked about kind of the guilt part and those things a couple of times, but I just want to just say, remember that fundraisers are not just one person. It doesn't rely on just one family. Typically, when we're fundraising in schools or in teams or in we're selling Girl Scout cookies or whatever that looks like, right? For your family, it is a team, right? And I would really encourage your child, especially with some of those things that feel like super unattainable. Like my daughter every year is like, I'm going to sell 1,000 boxes of cookies. And one
Yeah.
year, I think she is, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It might be this year. Like because she has the drive and every year she sells a little bit more than she did the last year.
Yeah.
And but like that's a lot of cookies. And I don't think that she recognizes quite how many that is right now. Right. And
Yeah.
so but every year we go through that, and so like when they're setting their goals and stuff, like just remember like we win together, right? And I bring this point, like this actually just kind of got brought back up for us just a couple days ago. So we had a girl on our troop this year who her family was moving during cookie season. I mean, their life was crazy and they
Yeah.
showed up as they could, right? So she didn't personally sell a whole lot of cookies, but she showed up at cookie booths. They were
Right.
like they were something I do love that the Girl Scouts do is that the girls can get on and they can send like little encouraging messages to other girls in their troops, like, and I mean they were showing up, they were still showing up even though it looked different, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And we were talking about cookie prizes and stuff, and this mom was like, I'm so sorry, we didn't really, and I was like, stop that. Like, she was a part of our success. Any part is a
Yeah.
part. I don't care if you didn't sell one box, but you came to cookie booths. Like, that's still a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
That's still that. You were still encouraging the girls. She was still like, right? Like, there's not this.
Yeah.
So I would just say like let's set our kids up that way. And if you are on the other side of this and you're listening to that and you're a teacher or you're a coach or you're a leader of some sort that is facilitating these fundraisers, just remember like we win together. We win because we all worked in whatever manner that means that those kids can show up. Because
Mm.
the more we build that up, the more likely we are to be successful. The more we tear that down and the harder we make it feel, the less likely fundraisers are to succeed.
Mm. Yes. Amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. One thing that you keep bringing up these terrific ideas for me. One thing that I just got is like, people are not, we were talking about teaching your children sales skills and how to be a good salesperson and how to put
Yeah.
themselves face to face and ask and those kinds of, skills. Think about it though, in our adult world and in, with the network of people that you have around you, not everyone's a salesman. Not everyone's a salesman, and there are gifted salesmen,
There
right?
are,
But
yeah.
it takes all kinds to
Yep.
make the world go round. So this goes back to your idea of everyone can contribute something and we
Yep.
win together. And for me, I
That's
think the
right.
distinction is about intentionality.
Hmm.
If you are an intentional participant or
Yep.
an intentional
Opt
non-participant,
outer. Yep.
right? If you are a non-participant or a participant, I think either way the difference is intentionality. You
Mm.
If you have an intentional uh engagement with a fundraising activity, then you are showing up, then
Yep.
you are contributing, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And unfortunately there's a lot of folks who just don't engage, right? Don't have
Yep.
that intentionality. And I think that's where fundraising I for me that's one of the ways it goes sideways, because there is
Mhm.
this sort of disequivalence. There is this not everybody's giving, not
Yeah.
everybody's just showing up and contributing in the same way. um I think the more we can be intentional and creative about how we participate, the easier the whole entire process would be for the group.
Yep.
You know.
Absolutely. I think 1,000,000%. You just hit that nail on the head. Like that feels like you just tied a nice little bow on it all because
Oh, good.
I do. I know I do because
well,
I
well, how
like,
about me being the pessimist in this conversation? But I think that's what's missing for me,
mm,
right? That's what's
yeah,
missing, and it just feels, uh, you know, like the wheels fell off on the left side of the cart, and
yeah,
so let's just keep dragging it along.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I don't think that saying intentionality makes you a pessimist, right? So I want to be clear about that because I think that really, like, that's a lesson that we can learn across more than anything, more across everything, not just fundraising, right? Like, man, if we were saying like, "Ooh, I'm going to intentionally like this is the time that I'm working on this and I'm going to intentionally do it." Right? Like this is the like even for something as small as like folding the laundry or matching the socks, right? All the way up to fundraising or buying a house or this, like if we actually put that same feeling across everything that we did, I bet we would feel a shift in ourselves and in our
yeah.
homes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's 100% true, and I think that's maybe one thing I do well. If I could pat myself on the back for a minute, I do think that I'm intentional with everything I do, or
Mhm.
I make a concerted effort to be intentional with anything I do, and that gives me a sense of satisfaction at the end of the day, whether
Yeah.
it went well or didn't go well, whether I ticked all the boxes or not. I was intentional,
Yeah. I'm
right?
probably 90% intentional. Like realistically, I don't know that if I could say I do it
Hey,
with
I
everything, but
high five, double high
yeah.
five for being intentional for
Yeah.
those watching us on YouTube. Well, I hope that this was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect really, but I feel like there were some really neat nuggets that we
Yeah.
uncovered, Becky. So,
I think it was
um,
real. Like that's
yeah,
the bottom line, Lacey, is that we want to show up and we want to be real. And I think that
yeah.
any parent dealing with fundraising, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some parents love it. I don't know that I've ever met a parent who does though.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna say pretty safely we're not. Nope, nope. I don't think anyone loves it, but maybe we can see the opportunities in it,
yeah.
and also see the opportunities we have to protect our pace,
Yeah.
and to say no.
To
Maybe
say no.
put some boundaries up if need be,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
this it's a test, right? It's something we can look at it as a test and say, all right, how am I
Mhm.
going to pass this test, or how am I
How am I
going
going to
to,
pass it?
and I don't know, it felt like a parenting test when my kids were little.
Yeah.
It felt like a parenting test that I had to overcome, that I had to figure out how to pass. And I wouldn't say I ever really did. I wouldn't say I did. I would say I opted out as much as possible.
No, thank
I
you.
took the
Pass.
zero, and I'm like, no, I'll get an A some other way, because no, thank you. Um,
I love you. No, I like listen, I appreciate the honesty. I feel like I do probably go real far in, but I think it is the oh well we don't have this like this is not something that we always have to do, right? And
yeah,
so
yeah, you have
I
a sort of different level of
yeah, I
engagement
was
with
like
it. Yeah,
it feels different for us. Though I
yeah,
will say like when that fundraiser email came through this last time I was like
yeah,
but
yeah,
um but it'll be okay, right?
yeah,
And
yeah. It
uh
will take the lesson. Take the lesson, um and keep growing,
yeah, that's all we can do.
growing. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you were here with me today, Becky. Thanks for
Oh,
being
I
here.
always love spending time
And
with you.
thanks to all our listeners for tuning in. We're like more than halfway through season 2, and we are so delighted with this journey and what we've learned and what we're hopefully sharing with you that's valuable. And drop us a line, or tag us in on social and let us know how you feel about fundraising. Let us know what's going on in your life, that maybe is related to this topic. We'd love to chat.
Yes.
Okay, until next time.
Bye bye.